All right, so in part two, we're going to be focusing on how does surface area affect air resistance. So what we're going to make are three different sizes, right, of these homemade coffee filters. So the big thing with this is we want to make sure that the only thing that we're changing out of these three things, right? Because when we talk about good experiment design, is that we only want one independent variable, right? And so we want to make sure that we keep the weight exactly the same. In part one, we changed the weight, but we kept everything else the same. This one, we just want bigger or smaller coffee filters. So what you're going to need is to make these three, we're going to have three sheets of paper. So please make sure that you get 3 sheets of paper. And really the first one, right, is kind of like this one. All we're doing is what we did in part one, except we have one whole sheet, right? And you just kind of do the whole, right, 1 inch, right, bending out of all the four sides. I'm not going to watch part one to understand how to do that, okay? Um, but then the second thing, the second one, so the one that we're going to make next is the medium-sized coffee filter. And in order to keep the exact same weight, we don't want to cut it, right? So all we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to cut, and we're going to fold it in half like this, hamburger style, okay? So now we're making sure that we stay the same, right? Same weight, because we're still using one sheet. We're not cutting it. And now from here, all I'm going to do is the exact same thing that I've done with all the other ones. I'm just going to take, right? So again, this is the half sheet. And I'm now going to fold, right, the four sides up 1 inch tall, just like I've done, and make my coffee filter that way, okay? I'm not going to show again how to kind of bend in the corners to do that, because that was something that I've already gone over in part number one, okay? So now I've made two, right? I've made the large one, oops, right? I've made the middle one, and now what we need to do is make the small one, right? So again, same thing. We want to make sure that we take the one sheet that we have, right? So let's get a new sheet, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to, again, keep the same weight. So all we're going to do is we're going to fold it just like we kind of did in the very first part, where we're going to fold this twice. So one, maybe hamburger style, and then we're going to fold it again. Oops, sorry. I'll put this back in the middle, right? Like this, right? But this time, right, we're not going to cut it like we did before. What we're going to do is, just like last time, and let me bring this over here so I don't spend so much time trying to figure out how to fold it, is we want to take this, and now we're going to fold this, right, just like we did in part number one, right? So it's going to be a thicker sheet. It feels like a thicker sheet because it is. But here's the good thing. It's the same weight for all four because everything was made, right, with one sheet of paper. Again, the only thing I want to change in this is the size of the surface area that's going to be dropped. So I have now three sizes. I have the small one, I have the medium sized one, and I have the large one. There was no cuts made. So please make sure that you understand there should be no cuts made in this one. Okay? All right.